Salvete discipuli. This is help for your Latin studies in Henle First Year Latin, exercise 84. In this exercise, we are being introduced to adjectives in Latin. And so I've got my blue grammar book here opened up to rule number 72 about adjectives in the first and second declensions. And I've also got my purple book opened up to exercise 84. And before we get started, I just want to point out a few things that is important to know about adjectives. There's a few rules that will be helpful to you to know. So I'm going to turn back one page. This is where you'll find a list of your adjective vocabulary for this next lesson. And it says right at the bottom, these boxes on your in your purple book are important pieces of information. They're rules and whatever. So always pay attention to what's in the boxes. And on page 73 of your purple book, underneath your vocabulary list, there's a box that says adjectives agree with their nouns in gender, number, and case. Okay, so anytime you pair an adjective with a noun, you always do, right? An adjective describes a noun. Anytime that you have an adjective with a noun, that pairing has to agree in gender, number, and case. And of course, you have three options for gender. It can either be masculine, feminine, or neuter. You have two options for number. It can either be singular or plural. And you have 5 options for case. It can either be nominative, genitive, dative, accusative, or ablative. And those noun jobs do different things. Okay, so with that in mind, I'm also going to turn over to page 74, which is where we have exercise 84. And we have several Latin phrases that we're being asked to translate into English. And I think that you'll find it very easy to look and recognize the Latin words and have a sense of what how it would translate into English without giving it too much thought. But I want to go ahead and encourage you to give it a little bit more thought and recognize the agreement of gender, number, and case between the adjectives and the nouns that they modify. And so we can go ahead and just translate it, but then let's also think about why particular endings were paired together, how they agree, or in what way they agree. Okay, so exercise 84, let's look at number 1. It says, in alto flumine. Well, we know this from our previous vocabulary, flumen, fluminous, and that is, alto is our new vocabulary from altus, alta, altum, which means high or deep. Flumen, fluminous is river. Okay, so we're probably not talking about a high river, right? We're probably talking about a deep river. And so number 1, very simply, is going to be translated in the deep river. Okay, so we did our translation. That's all that's being asked of us, but like I said, I want to encourage you to give a little bit of thought to those endings and why those particular endings agree with each other. So we want to discover their gender, number, and case. All right, so if you think about, I would look at the noun first and determine what declension it's in, what gender it has, and move forward from there, whether it's singular or plural and so forth. Flumen, fluminous, that's our vocabulary word where we get this word flumine, and that is ending of the genitive singular, flumen, fluminous, indicates that this is a third declension noun. And as such, we need to determine its gender. Now, you'll remember the third declension genders can be a little bit tricky, but flumen, the nominative singular ending, ends with the letter N, flumen. And any of the nominative singular nouns that end with a letter L, A, N, C, E, or T, you'll remember the Lanket rule, is neuter. So I'm going to go ahead and put neuter. I just abbreviate that N. That's the gender. We also want to know the number. Are we talking about multiple rivers or one river? In this case, flumine, if I look at, or if I think about my third declension noun endings, various, is, em, and is the ending there. That was my singular form, so that is singular. And it's also ablative, which makes sense because we have that as a prepositional phrase. It's attached to the preposition in, right? So nominative, singular, ablative, okay? That's what I determined about the noun. Now let's just double check that the adjective agrees, and it's in the nominative, singular, or the neuter, singular, ablative case. Okay, so this is where our grammar book will come in helpful, because that Rule 72 takes a first or second declension adjective such as magnus, magna, magnum, and it declines it in the masculine second declension, feminine first declension, and neuter second declension endings. All right, we said neuter, singular, ablative. E, o, o. Notice I'm in the neuter column. This top section is singular, and ablative would be the last one of that section. O is my ending. So when I check over here, alto is the ending. It agrees. Neuter, singular, ablative. It agrees with the noun that it's modifying in gender, number, and case. Okay, let's do one more. I'm just going to come over to number 8. Cum multis militibus. Cum is a preposition meaning with. That's a clue right there, isn't it? As to what our noun and adjective case will be, right? So if cum is a preposition, it means with. It happens to be a preposition that takes the ablative, then I know that's going to be, I can expect that that's going to be in the ablative case. All right, multis militibus. Well, multus, multa, multum means much or many. In the plural, it means many, okay? And militibus is from a noun miles, militis, which means soldier, okay? So we need to determine, is this noun, what's its gender, and is it singular or plural? We already know it's likely going to be in the ablative based on that preposition there, right? We know that this means with many soldiers, and we can confirm that that's plural. If we think about miles militis, that genitive singular ending is tells me it's a third declension noun. And if I think through my third declension noun endings, I have various, is, em, and then ace, ibis, ace, ibis. So yes, the plural ablative ending of that noun would be ibis. So it is plural. Soldiers follows the natural gender rule, and that makes it masculine. All right, so we have masculine, plural, and ablative. And so let's just double check multis, that this ending agrees, that it's masculine, plural, ablative. So I'm going to look over in my grammar book at the masculine column. I want to go down to the plural section and look at the ablative form. Magnis, multis, yes. So this masculine, plural, ablative ending is is, and that agrees with the masculine, plural, ablative ending of this third declension noun here. Okay, so like I said, it's easy to look at the Latin words to kind of get a sense of what the vocabulary is and how to translate it like that, but it is valuable to think through also how these adjectives and nouns agree with one another. So I hope that you'll at least take the opportunity to do that with a couple of them, and have a great week.